I'm not going to make any excuses for it. I do like photography gear, especially a beautiful camera like the Leica Q2 Monochrome. I've used the Leica Q2 Monochrome for near enough 3 years now. I've used it for portraits, street photography, fine art photography. I've used it for events, weddings, and as a carry everyday camera. It's about time I reviewed this thing. The Leica Q2 Monochrome is a 47.3 megapixel full-framed monochrome sensor fixed lens camera. The lens on this is a 28mm 1.7 Summilux. It's fair to say that this camera is a niche within a niche within a niche. If you mainly shoot colour photography and just dabble now and again with black and white photography, I think it's safe to say that this camera just isn't going to be for you. What I will do is put a card up at the end of this video with my review for the Leica Q3. The question is, why would anybody limit themselves to a monochrome only camera? I have friends that joke with me all the time saying, yeah, one day he's going to be able to afford a colour camera. Technically, a monochrome sensor camera is going to give you better high ISO performance, it's going to get you sharper images, and it's going to get you a better dynamic range. That is providing you don't overexpose your images. That isn't always why somebody would buy a monochrome only camera though. Sometimes it's people that have got a bit of a scatterbrain and they just cannot decide afterwards whether they want to keep an image in colour or convert it to black and white. A monochrome sensor camera is obviously going to simplify that. You have no choice, it's going to be monochrome. But the reason why I use this camera even now after 3 years is not for any of those reasons. It's because what comes out of this camera is sheer magic. If I shoot low to medium ISOs, I get something that I can only describe as medium format like. Then at the crazy high ISOs that this camera is capable of, more like 35mm film. For me, the reason why I originally purchased this camera was because I just wanted the best monochrome images that I could get. And this camera definitely did deliver on that. But shooting Leica isn't just about the final results. It's the experience of shooting a Leica camera that many, including myself, just pulls you in and makes your photography more enjoyable. You feel like an artist again. A Leica is also a beautiful thing. Understated, simple menu systems with very few buttons on the camera itself. The Q2 Monochrome is an all black body with no red dot. Most people won't have a clue what the camera is that you have around your neck. The ones that do know will most likely be Leica users also. The camera just feels right in the hands. Every press of the button a pleasure. It's a camera that cries out to you, "Take me out today, we've got moments to capture." You might have concerns that this is a 28mm lens and you're stuck with a 28mm lens. Why not a 35mm or a 50mm? I think 28mm is the correct choice that Leica made when choosing a fixed focal length for this camera. For my street photography, this lens is just perfect for grabbing moments. I can just click the lens into manual focus and zone focus for quick shots that no AF in the world could achieve. 28mm may not seem to be the right portrait focal length, but what I've found is that I've produced stunning portraits that suck the viewer in. 28mm is intimate and you need to be careful with composition to ensure you don't distort the subject. But once you've nailed it, you'll never look back. The autofocus on this camera is adequate. In this day and age, there are lots of cameras out there with much better autofocus. But the camera does the job. When shooting portraits, I can use face and eye detection and it works. For fine art or landscape photography, you'll be glad to know that the amazing detail that you get from this camera will not disappoint. I've shot some beautiful fine art photography with my time traveler and metalhead projects. And what good is having such a high amount of megapixels and a super sharp monochrome sensor without printing your images and printing them big? When I first went to RJ Printlab and printed platinum palladium prints, these showed me the true tonality of the images that this camera can produce. In all my years of photography, I've never seen anything as beautiful as these prints. I'll put the link in the description for RJ Printlab if you ever wanted to print your prints as platinum palladium. This camera is not a cheap camera. It's going to cost you about 5,000 British pounds. That's a lot of money, and it's going to take a lot of courage to dive into this world with just a monochrome only camera. It's not for the faint of heart. I think we can safely say that I'm a fan of this camera. Without this particular camera, I don't believe that I would be the photographer that I am today. I know that a camera doesn't make you a better photographer, but a beautiful camera like this, it can get your heart racing and your blood pumping to go out and shoot with excitement and new eyes. If you want to learn my approach to street photography and monochrome photography and street portraits, then it would be fantastic to see you on one of my workshops in London. I've got one in January and I've got one in March. February's full, but we've got some spaces available in January and March. I hope this video has helped you just understand what the Leica Q2 Monochrome is and why I love using it. And if you want a photography heavy channel full of images every week, then this is the channel for you. So please like, subscribe and comment. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.